You have asked, so we are here to deliver. How many of us would rather die than give a presentation? Hello everyone, my name is Ellie over at Fourth. If we haven't met yet, if you would subscribe to our channel, give us a like button, hit that bell notification. We are so glad that you're here. Now today, I'm gonna walk you to my foolproof way to plan, prepare, and execute a presentation. In essence, I'm going to be showing you how to nail a presentation. The first key and one of the most important and missed things about when we're thinking about giving a presentation is that it is not about you. Many times we think about, how am I going to come off? Are people going to receive what I'm saying well? But at the end of the day, if we can take the pressure off of us and focus on what is my audience trying to get from this and what do I want them to get from it, it is going to completely change the way we think about a presentation. So when starting, before you even start with your topic, I want you to ask yourself, what is the point? What is my audience thinking when they walk away from this presentation, from this workshop, from this facilitation, from this video, etc.? The second piece that I want to cover is the preparation. Once you have your topic, once you know what you want your audience to walk away knowing, the preparation really allows you to win, because if you can do all the best things up front, the execution is just icing on the cake. In preparation, I love to focus on what's called the tell 'em method. The tell 'em method says, first you want to tell them what you're going to tell them. Then you tell them. Then you tell them what you told them. Now, many of you may feel like this is so boring, putting the audience to sleep, but in essence, you want to tell them over and over and over again what is the point and what you want them to walk away knowing. The second key to preparing is to figure out ways to weave in stories or storytelling. Our brain, as listeners and as receivers of information, we actually spend a lot of energy listening. It's very difficult for us to pay attention and to process information. However, we as humans seek out stories. We like to close the loop, right? And marketing professionals, business professionals do this all the time. They tell good stories that come into conflicts and then they solve the conflict, right? So for us as presenters and when we're guiding any sort of audience with our voice and with our articulation, we want to weave in stories so that they not only hear what we're saying, but that they pay attention and that they ultimately remember. I'll give you a really quick example. Whenever I introduce myself to an audience or to a presentation, I give a couple fun facts about me. And one of those fun facts is that my mom was on Wheel of Fortune when she was pregnant with me, and therefore I was on Wheel of Fortune. And in essence, I am a Wheel of Fortune fanatic. Now, I could have just told you that I love game shows, that I like to watch game shows, but that doesn't really give you a hook. There's nothing to really remember there. But 9 times out of 10, when I tell the audience that, and then later on, maybe an hour later, I may ask the audience, what did I tell you about me when I introduced myself? They always remember that story. Now, maybe because it's interesting, but also I just think the story aspect to it makes it super memorable. And the last piece to preparing is you want to think about including sticky statements or statements that stick. Things that you can say and you can repeat. You can put it in that tell 'em method, and that it's going to stay longer in someone's brain to think about down the line. Marketing gurus do this a lot, right? That's why taglines are really sticky and memorable. So how can you create your own sticky statements to really get across the point? So as an example of what I did today, sticky statements, right? I want you all to remember to include sticky statements in whatever it is that you're presenting on or doing a facilitation and workshop. Okay, so to reiterate, when we're thinking about preparation, we want to focus on the tell 'em method, storytelling, and sticky statements. All right, so once you've fleshed out your idea, you've focused your topic on the audience and what is the point that you want them to get, and then you've thought through all your details, the tell 'em method, you've input your stories, and you've thought through some sticky statements, it is time to execute. And I want to teach you how I not only execute well, but can continue to rinse and repeat that process easily. When we're thinking about executing, I want you all to remember that it is a game of internalizing, not memorizing. I think we all know that we don't want to memorize a speech or memorize what we're going to say in a presentation, but sometimes it's easier said than done. And so because of this, one tip and trick that I've learned throughout the years is if you can kind of narrow down your topic and your bullets and your outline into as few words as possible, but still letting you understand what it is that you're going to talk about, then that makes it super sticky in your brain. So once you've dwindled down this outline or you've gotten it as condensed as possible, but still getting your points across, you then want to put that outline on a note card. This is what I call the note card method. And then once you've condensed down your thoughts, condensed your points, your outline for what you're going to talk about with your stories and your sticky statements included, and you put it on that note card, then that note card is your cheat sheet. You basically can keep that in your back pocket as a safety net. You use it to practice. You use it to keep running it through in your mind when I'm doing my makeup before a presentation, when I'm doing my hair, when I'm eating my breakfast, when I'm drinking my water and my coffee. I'm glancing over the note card. I'm not looking at slides. I'm really just focusing on the key points that I want to get across. And so let's say I show up to my presentation and I originally had an hour, but things, changed as they always do. And now I only have 30 minutes. What I can easily do is reflect back on my note card and say, okay, I can spend less time here, more time here. I can cut this out completely, but as long as I get this point across, then we will be good. Now, that is like a secret tip, a secret hack. I've never heard of anyone else doing that, and it has worked wonders for me. That is how I prep for these YouTube videos. That's how I prep for all of my speaking engagements and workshops. But the final piece of execution that I think we all know is so crucial is the impact of our body language. So I think we all know body language is important, but what are some key factors to really make sure that we let our body language come across well? You may or may not have heard this before, but if someone buys you, they will buy anything that goes with you. And if they don't buy you, they will not buy anything that goes with you, right? Even if it's a good idea. And so you need to make sure that this audience buys you. From the moment you step on that stage, they trust you, they're listening to you, and they're eating out of the palm of your hand, right? And so to do that, there's some key things that you can do with your body language to make sure that you're not giving them a negative impression of you. This goes without saying, but make sure you're smiling, even if it feels uncomfortable. A smile can be seen from so far away and for your folks up close and on video. When you smile, it just makes them feel like you actually want to be there, which honestly is half of the battle. We've all heard presenters and speakers that just are not happy to be there, or they're making us think that they are not happy to be there. The other thing is doing what's natural with your hands. I think there's so much language and literature out there around, don't talk with your hands or talk with your hands. My guidance is do whatever feels natural to you in your most excited state. So don't try to calm yourself down, or else that's going to come across as nervous or maybe uninterested. And don't necessarily try to hype yourself up, because that will also come across as unauthentic. And so what you really want to do is take note of the body language that you really do when you are in a genuinely happy, excited, enthusiastic, positive state, and really harness that when you're on stage. Make a point to talk with your hands if that's what you do, etc., etc. So those are the key things to executing well. You want to internalize and not memorize. And when you internalize, you want to use that note card method. Then you want to focus on your body language. Have that smile, make sure that people buy you so that they go and buy anything that you say or that you sell, right? And focus on the positive gestures that you naturally do and really harness those when you're on stage. And finally, this is a serious fourth secret sauce. Many of you have probably heard of it before. We talk about this a lot with interviewing, but it also is so crucial in the presenting space. I want you all to pump up the jams. Now, you may be saying, what is pump up the jams, Ellie? I have no idea. I'm so glad that you asked. Pumping up the jams can also be referenced as dancing it out, releasing nervous energy, etc. Basically, you need to get by yourself where no one else can see you. You're not nervous about what people are thinking that you're doing. Turn on a playlist, turn on a song that gets your blood pumping. It's those songs that you cannot physically help yourself from dancing. That's how good they are. They jive with you for some rhyme or reason. Crank up the volume as loud as wherever you are will allow, right? Get it as loud as you can so that when you sing, you don't hear yourself singing, and dance it out. Jump your body up and down, move your arms, move your legs. And what this is gonna allow you to do is it's going to allow you to release some of that anxious energy, which is good. You wanna be anxious and ready and a little bit nervous, right? So that you can perform well, but you wanna release some of that anxious energy and also hone into the excited energy that you also have. We want to optimize that excitement as much as physically possible. Okay, folks, that is it. Those are our secrets revealed, our tips and tricks shared on how to execute a presentation well. We've talked about planning for and picking a topic that's not about you and about your audience. We've talked about preparing well and going through those steps, focusing on storytelling and being sticky. Then we talked about executing and how to internalize, not memorize, and utilize our body language. And lastly, we talked about pumping up the jams, our fourth secret sauce to let you just come alive on stage and make sure that people see who you are and what you have to offer. If this was fun for you, if you learned something, please hit the like button below, but better yet, send it to a career enthusiast, aspiring presenter just like yourself. We love having you here, and we actually have an exciting next step for you. We cover this and so much more, everything in the world of career development in our signature method, Get Hired Bootcamp. We are building our waitlist as we speak, so I've linked that below for you in the show notes if you would like to be on our waitlist. That's all I got. Thanks so much for being here, and go forth and present on.